Welcome to Humble and Hungry, Episode 2. Here on Humble and Hungry, I'm sort of setting out to explore all of the small, intentional things we can do that will help us lead happier and healthier lives. That's why I'm so excited for today's episode. We're going to meet mental health therapist Karie Gower, my first guest, and she's going to share with us why it's so important to connect with ourselves. She'll share some techniques and she'll even lead us through one exercise. If you want to stick around after that, I'm going to invite you into my kitchen and we're going to do a little meal prep Sunday. Let's dig right in. Humble and Hungry, Karie. Thank you so much for being my first guest on my YouTube channel. Karie is a art therapist and trauma therapist from Buffalo, New York. And Karie, I'm just so grateful to have you on the show today. I think your work is so important, and I think that my viewers and everyone watching will really be impacted by the tips you have to even share with us, specifically when we talk about really being able to connect with yourself. So I'm really looking forward to digging into that together today. But before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about your background and the work you do?
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this with you. As you said, I'm an art therapist, so I'm a licensed art therapist in New York State, in Buffalo, and not a lot of people know about the field. It's a little bit of a niche, so just to explain it a little bit more. I was trained, I have my master's degree, just like any other psychotherapist, mental health counselor, and the focus is as well on creating art, so using art making as another way to externalize, to problem solve, to better understand things. And so not all of my clients make art. Some come for more other types of therapies that I offer, but we're always being creative in some way or another in the work that I do. And I'm in private practice. I have history in working for a nonprofit for many years and running groups in the area, but I'm in private practice right now in the city of Buffalo.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that work you do. I'm sure it impacts a lot of people. So we've talked about the idea of being able to connect with yourself. And I don't know if everyone is just honestly familiar with that concept, even though it sounds simple. Can you tell us a little bit about what connecting with yourself means and why it's important?
Yeah, so to start with why it's important, what I find is it's such a foundational tool to any type of kind of reaching goals, whether it be therapeutic or with wellness. And so in the work with my clients, I see a variety of people who are coming in with all types of things that they want to work on, and without having that foundation of really being able to kind of sit with yourself, to notice yourself, to be aware of the thoughts and emotions that are coming up, to be aware of body sensations. It's so key in any type of change or positive change that you're looking for. So yeah, really important. And then even for me personally, with symptoms I've experienced related to anxiety, depression, or not feeling good in my body, being able to really slow things down, better understand myself, be a little more present with myself really helps me make choices that feel better. So we're all kind of moving through this life, especially right now in a pandemic where we have stress on top of layers of stress that we had pre-pandemic, and we're kind of just go. And so being able to really slow that down lets us have more choice versus these automatic responses of, this is what I do. I'm in survival mode, right? I'm kind of moving and grooving in a certain way. That act of connecting with ourselves, slowing things down, really opens up the realm of choice. Like, oh, well, what do I want here? Oh, do I want something a little bit different right now? Or will something else fit my needs a little bit better? Really helps us to take care of ourselves better. Which I think, obviously is so important. And it's such a beautiful way to take care of yourself. And I know we'll talk in a little more detail about what that looks like. Also, the research really tells us that this process of slowing down and being mindful, being present, it rewires our brain and rewires our body. So it really is impactful and can be these really kind of small but mighty experiences that we can have. Yeah, and I know you said...
The first action people are really taking is deciding I'm going to take a minute to connect and come back to just myself, right?
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
action,
it's just that. Like, I want to just take a moment to notice what's happening inside of me. And I know you said it kind of, yeah, like sounds simple and maybe sounds easy, but it's not. It can be really hard for a lot of people. So it's really tough work. And just a little bit as a note too for what we'll be doing is that sometimes that act of noticing and paying attention to yourself and connecting with yourself, connecting with your body, it doesn't feel safe for people. So that's a really natural response. You know, this process of disconnecting from ourselves is actually a really intelligent survival response. Disconnecting from ourselves and our body, and sometimes we really need that, and we need to be distracted. And so in doing this, we want to be really gentle with ourselves. We want to listen to our cues and the information that comes up, because we might go into something and we might have some kind of information. It's like, oh, this doesn't feel good. And then we come out of it. And then you can be distracted and you can kind of focus on something else. And when you feel ready, maybe you can come back in. But there's no right or wrong way for this type of work. You can't mess it up. You can't do it wrong, which I think is pretty special.
Yeah. So I guess to start at the beginning, like, what are the warning signs people may receive that say, like, hey, it's time to just check in with yourself a little bit?
Yeah, if you feel like you are on autopilot and go, and, you know, maybe you're forgetting things, or you feel a little out of control, or things feel chaotic, I mean, that, you know, tells us we are moving and operating at a pretty high pace, and that's not sustainable. Right, we're going to probably shut down at some point. Or if we're a little bit on that opposite end where we're really disconnected, or we feel like we can't really get up and move or do the things that we need to do, you know, those types of experiences as well might tell us, yeah, if we're not feeling well, we're not feeling good. But then even the people who are feeling well and feeling good, when we do get to notice ourselves, it's still great for our body. It's great for our health, mental and physical. And maybe when we're feeling good and we notice that we're feeling good, that good feeling can even amplify, or we can feel, you know, more fulfilled or more connected to ourselves, to our loved ones. So really anyone can practice this type of thing, and, you know, benefits will come, in my experience at least.
So good habits for everyone at any time. That's so cool. So what are some of the techniques you recommend to people? What are some of your more popular ones?
Yeah, and some things I think it's really nice to have a range of, like, things that can take 10 seconds, or things that maybe can take more time if you have more time. So a lot of these things are a little quicker. One, pretty simple, but again, you know, not always easy, is to find your heartbeat.
Okay.
We got this place, here, our wrist, and to just stay with that heartbeat for a few cycles of breath, and to notice that you're breathing. And you don't have to change your breathing. You don't have to go for, you know, long, deep breaths, but that act of noticing, research shows that it actually regulates our breathing and regulates our heartbeat just by the act of noticing. So that can be nice and quick. You can do it anywhere, right?
Yeah, with you.
Yeah. Another one is like an adult I Spy. And none of these are like original or new to me. They're just, you know, adaptations of things people are doing all over the place.
Okay.
But it's a grounding tool, mindfulness tool, where you're noticing your environment and you're picking out 3 blue things, maybe 2 soft things, maybe 4 rectangular things in your environment. So it could be somewhere inside, or maybe, you know, you're noticing 2 trees or 2 clouds. And what's nice about that is when we don't have as much tolerance to noticing ourselves, if that feels uncomfortable, then this is something that is more external, but still has a positive effect in terms of grounding and increasing your presence, you know, in the moment at hand.
Is that something that if someone's like kind of having trouble calming down, they can like keep doing, like keep identifying new things, keep looking more into their surroundings? Like, can that be a longer process for some people, or is it something that usually just works right away? Like, what's that like?
Yeah, I think it depends on the person, but what's nice about it is you can keep going. You can do shiny things, right? You could do shiny things, any color, any shape. And so I do find that, you know, a lot of people I work with, it really is impactful. We use it sometimes as preparation to something that is anxiety provoking, or a situation that feels a little unsafe for them. And, you know, really finding a way that it works for you. But yeah, you could do like 2 things, or you could do 10 things.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Let it be what you need it to be. I love that. Okay, so do you have a third?
Yeah, so this other one, you might have heard people say like, oh, I'm going to my happy place, right, inside. And there's an activity called safe place or peaceful place that's used in EMDR therapy, which is a type of therapy that I'm trained in and use with clients. It's evidence-based in terms of trauma treatment and memories, and as well as art therapy. It's a favorite of both of those. So really, you just kind of go inside, you close your eyes, you can keep them open, and you imagine what a peaceful place would look like to you. Is it in nature? Somewhere you've been, somewhere you want to go? Is it indoors? Is it magical? It can have magical elements to it. What colors are there? What smells? What sounds? And just really tease it out. And then you get to take a brain break with it or a mental vacation. And you get to go there. And we know the placebo effect can be quite strong. There's so much research on that. So if we can really go there, we might be able to get those benefits of inner peace, relaxation, calming the nervous system. It can also be used as maybe more of an activity with a family or with friends where you kind of each come up with your own peaceful place and then maybe you make art around it. So maybe you draw it out in a way that's abstract or realistic and can be a little bit more of an activity, which is nice.
I love that. I love that idea of doing it with other people too, especially if people have like families or people they spend a lot of time with. It's a nice thought, you know. Of course, right now, the idea of escaping into a beach or something wouldn't hurt anybody. So we're all home. A little vacation to a happy place sounds amazing. So definitely makes sense. So is there a technique we can model for people or give a preview to at least?
Yeah. So I thought we could, put this into practice just to kind of see more of what it can be like. And it's a body scan. So some people might have done it before if you practice guided meditations or something that, that's in a part of your practice. But so Emily, you and I can do it. And if you have observations you make that you want to share, feel free. And then whoever is watching this, if you want to participate as well. And we're gonna check.
If we're gonna do it in front of everybody has to join us. So everybody who's watching has to do it with us right now.
All right, people. But remember, you get to come in and out of it whenever you need or want. But let's dip toes in. Everyone can dip a little pinky toe in, maybe.
I like it.
So first, I really always like to start out with just noticing ourselves in our chairs or wherever you're sitting or laying down, whatever kind of space or furniture is below you. And so I noticed I was like, a little hunchy, a little leaning forward, engaged with you. And that act of noticing for me just said, like, lean back. And so that's what I'm referring to with noticing, bringing up choice, right? Because if we don't notice this is happening, we don't get to decide what feels better, if something would feel better. So that already feels better for me. Maybe we can notice our feet on the ground. And notice that we're breathing. Just notice it's happening. It's always happening without you having to do anything about it. And we're going to go from here down and just start with being curious about being a little bit of a detective around our head and face. So noticing any sensation, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral in our face, our eyebrows, our nose, jaw. I tend to hold some tension here. A lot of people do. We can maybe relax our jaw. And then our neck and shoulders. When I'm experiencing higher levels of stress, my neck really tends to scream to me to pay attention. So catching it early always helps. And so maybe even some neck circles if that feels good, or even just looking right to left. You find what feels best for you. And shoulders into the arms, hands, fingers, especially if you do a lot of typing or on a computer or whatever, especially in a Buffalo winter, putting some lotion on and maybe a little hand massage for a minute can be nice. There's a little bit of that pause. Bringing that awareness to this heart space, noticing that breath again, it's still happening. Notice in the stomach area, spine, and back. See what's hanging out there. And having neutral language can be helpful too. Just like, okay, what's going on? right? Is there some tension? Can I take care of that? Can I do something about that? And I'll just check in with you, Emily, before we move on. Anything you're noticing that you want to share about yourself?
I always carry all my tension like in between my shoulder blades. So like anything that like stretches that out, my first thought is always like, I should do this all the time. Why don't I, it just feels so good. So I'd say that's probably like the best one for me so far. And just keeping my feet on the ground and like being aware of it. It's so settling. I like that.
Great. Yeah. And you get to notice what feels good for you.
Exactly.
Nice job. And then we'll kind of bring it down into our legs, feet, toes, ankles, maybe even if you're sitting, maybe stretching your legs, maybe flexing and putting your toes.
Especially we're doing this after a long day. So this feels so good after our work days today.
Yes. Yeah. And maybe whole body awareness if we can, just like anything else that's really calling to you that you need or want, whether it's breath, stillness, gentle movement. Yeah. And there we go. We just did a body scan. Thanks everyone for trying this out.
You're so like soothing. You're so good at this. I see why this is your area of expertise.
Feels good for me. So I get to practice something that feels good for me. So I feel pretty lucky with that.
Thank you so much. I know I'm being silly, but it really is so valuable. And like we have said before, like these are things you can take with you, no matter where you are, you can stop for a few minutes and do something like this. So no matter what someone's going through or the position they're in, this is such a valuable technique just to have in your back pocket. So I love that you shared it. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Since you're, obviously someone who understands this field so well and understands all the different resources and tools out there for people, people who want to learn more about mindfulness and this idea of connecting with themselves, what are some of your favorite resources to use? Like, what do you recommend people check out?
Yeah, so one thing that's really nice that people may have heard of, I think it was pretty much towards the beginning of the pandemic, Headspace, the app Headspace, had a deal with New York State where they provided some free resources on their website. So you can go right to Headspace, and as a New York State resident, you'll have access to some of their things that are not always free. So guided meditation, exercises with movement, exercises to help with sleep. So that can be really nice for people if that's up your alley. Another thing that has been really great for me personally, as well as a lot of my clients, is Yoga with Adriene on YouTube.
Okay.
Because she's really trauma informed. She has something for everyone. She has things that are, 5 minutes, things that are longer, things for people who are new to yoga and just want to explore that type of movement and connection, and then things that for people that are more advanced, and so things that are gentle and things that make you sweat. But I love, because her focus is so much on connecting with yourself, your body. Her motto is find what feels good, and I have been able to deepen my connection with myself and my body through using her from my house on YouTube for free. So thank you to her.
So that's Yoga with Adriene, right?
Yoga with Adriene, okay. Yeah. And she does have a subscription that you can get and have access to more videos, but she has so many for free on YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that could be something if people want to check it out. And then I really also love this illustrator and occupational therapist based out of the UK. Her name is Hannah Daisy, and her handle is @MakeDaisyChains, and she celebrates what she calls boring self-care. So the way we are in culture, that's like, oh, self-care is taking a day off of work and going to a spa. Not everyone has access to that. And we can really appreciate these small, boring things that we do every day to take care of ourselves. For example, taking a warm shower, changing our bed sheets and then getting in and they smell good, or cooking ourselves a nourishing meal, or breathing. So she has these really beautiful illustrations, that people can check out that can be a nice reminder. And being able to kind of curate our feed on social media, I think can be really helpful, being able to give ourselves content that are going to align with whatever it is that we need, maybe as reminders or how we want to take care of ourselves. It's out there.
Throughout this past year, I feel like so many people have gotten their like advice from things people are sharing on social, like the Instagram messages that become like viral are so often things that actually are impacting people for the good now because people share self-care and like self-love tips. I'm sure I've loved the ones you've posted. And it's cool. So if people want to check out her handle, I'll put that on my YouTube page and my Instagram so people can find her handle. But another popular place to go is kariegower.com. So if people aren't already Googling you like crazy, I know your website's great, and you have some guided meditations there too, right?
Yeah, I do. There's 3 up there. They're, pretty short. They're all under 10 minutes. I know you still need some time to be able to sit and do something like that. But yeah, so those are there for anyone to check out if they might find them helpful, just to be able to take notice.
Awesome. So I'll share that, of course, too. So thank you so much for doing this with me. I feel so much more informed, and I feel like I'm well equipped with some good tips now for the very likely chance I'll need them in the future. So thank you so much for your time today. I hope to have you back sometime soon. And we'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much again, Karie, for joining me here on Humble and Hungry. Next up, I want to invite you into my kitchen to learn a little bit about my meal prep Sundays. Not because I'm the most amazing chef in the world, but because meal prep has really helped me cut down on anxiety. It's amazing what a little time on a weekend can do for your whole entire week. When I have a breakfast that's ready to go, it's so powerful because it eliminates any choices I need to make. I know that I have a healthy meal ready to go that's compliant with the diet I'm doing, and I don't need to think about what I'm in the mood for or what I have time to make or leave room to make a bad choice. I have a healthy meal ready to go, and it just sets me up. It makes me feel like I'm ready for the week. So I hope it's something that you enjoy, and I hope you can get some tips. Hey everybody, and welcome to my kitchen. So on the weekends, while I'm doing Bright Line Eating, I'm doing a ton of meal prep because the meals just really need to be very specific in the guidelines they meet. I eat a specific amount of vegetables, protein, and fat for each meal. So it just takes a lot of time, and the first couple weeks I was doing it, I was just spending way too much time every day getting ready. So now I pretty much prep all of my breakfast and lunch for the week on the weekends, and even some dinners. So actually doing dinner right now, so wanted to share with you something I'm making. I'm doing stuffed peppers again. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I love my stuffed peppers. My mother-in-law, Jackie, shout out to Jackie, had fresh basil today at her house. So I got to add some fresh basil in my Italian stuffed peppers. Super easy. They're just sweet peppers with cauliflower, green peppers, and onion. The vegetables altogether equal 14 ounces, so that is a dinner vegetable. That's a lot of vegetables, so this is a really yummy way to get them all in. So I have those vegetables, then I have 2 ounces of ricotta and some basil, and I have some sugar-free marinara sauce. So I'll mix it up, throw it in the peppers, bake them, and I'm going to keep a couple in the fridge for the week and freeze a few, so I have them for later on. If you're doing Bright Line Eating, you know that dinner is a lot of vegetables. They recommend you do 8 ounces of vegetables and 6 ounces of salad for dinner, but without salad dressing, sometimes I just get sick of salad, so I just eat a lot of sauteed veggies and things like that. So these peppers are great because they're going to meet my whole vegetable threshold for dinners in one yummy dinner. So I'm excited for that. More to come. All right, I'm back with my first set of stuffed peppers. They are ready to go in the oven. You'll see they look delicious. I think just the colorfulness of this makes me happy. It makes me feel like I'm being super productive and healthy. So one thing I do want to add is that the smaller peppers couldn't fit the amount of veggie mix I had to put in them, so I have some extras. So if you're doing Bright Line Eating, for my 2 smaller peppers, I'm going to count them as 12 ounces of veggies. They might even be a little less than that, but that was my only little faux pas with these. I'm super excited. If you're just doing a sugar-free diet and not measuring, you can absolutely do whatever you want, portion-wise. All right, so we have a few dinners and lunches out of the oven, ready to go, ready to pop into containers in the fridge for the week, or ready to freeze so I have them at a later date. So let's take a look. We'll start with the peppers that I showed you before, the Italian peppers. Again, this is ricotta, green onion, or green peppers, onion, sugar-free marinara, and of course the sweet pepper itself, which of course counts in your vegetable if you're doing bright line eating. I did a Mexican version as well here that has corn and salsa instead of the marinara, and added the corn, and I also have cheddar cheese in there, so that will be a fat, not the protein from the ricotta. If you're not doing bright line eating, ignore these details. If you are, I'm sure you can appreciate. I also did something fun that I kind of came up with on my own. Hopefully it'll be yummy. Some of the ramen here. I had a bunch of extra cauliflower, and I realized I haven't been making a lot of lunches today. I've been having on the dinners. So I did this. It's cauliflower, black beans, corn, green onion, or green peppers, onion, and cheese, and salsa. And this actually equals 2 complete lunches on bright line eating, plus a fruit. So this will be 2 of my lunches for the week. I'll just have an apple or banana or something with it, and I'll be good to go. And I feel like it looks better in person than it does right here, but if you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw my before picture. Okay, so we have another update from the kitchen from Meal Prep Sunday here. We have some breakfast I made. I made 3 sets of like mini egg bites. They're kind of based off of a casserole I make a lot, but this is 3 servings, so I'll have 4 egg bites for breakfast. And each serving is 4 ounces of egg, 4 ounces of potatoes, 1.5 eggs, and a 1/2 ounce of cheddar cheese. I also made a version for my husband and my son that has ham in it, and some onion, and a little bit extra cheese, because they're not doing bright line eating, so they can have it a little bit more savory. But these are almost ready for the week. I have 3 blueberry banana loaves in the oven, and then I'll be pretty much good to go. So this is my Meal Prep Sunday. It's been about 3 hours. My son should be up any second, and we'll go right back into toddler mode. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me today. I'm not exactly a masterclass chef, but I hope you learned a little bit about meal prep and how it can help you lead a little bit of a simpler week. A lot of the reason why I decided to do this YouTube channel is because I can't believe how many small things I've started to do that have made a big impact. And I really love sharing all of my journey with everyone on Instagram, and I've had such a great reaction that I'm just really grateful to be here on YouTube sharing more of my story. I want to end each episode with a happy thought, and I thought I would do it again this week with a quote that I thought really kind of tied into our overall theme today, which was really connecting with ourselves. So the quote I would like to share with you today is, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." See you next time.